So today we're going to be looking at money management. Money management for everybody, not just for entrepreneurs, but for everybody. Money management for everyone. So let's go straight into business. What is money management? So you see, the terms can be interchanged. It could be financial management, it could be portfolio management. So whichever one I use, just know that we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about financial management or money management, whichever. So money management is a skill that everyone needs to develop because it will determine how well your money can produce for you. If you don't develop that skill, you will be making money, like I said yesterday, but you might not actually know what you did with the money, and your money will not produce much for you. You know, money management refers to the process of budgeting, saving, investing, spending, or otherwise overseeing the capital uses of an individual or group's fund. So it could be for your personal fund, it could be for your family fund, it could be for your, maybe you belong to an association, like your church fund, you're the one overseeing it. Whatever you do, the process of budgeting it, saving it, investing it, or spending it is referred to as money management, right? And it's the process of expense tracking. You have to track your expense, investing, budgeting, even banking, and evaluating taxes of one's money, which is also called investment management. So money management is a strategic technique to make money yield the highest interest output value for any amount spent. And when I talk about the highest interest output for any amount spent, let's take, for instance, you are here, you've been burning your data for 3 days. Let's assume that you used, say, 3,000 or 3,500, right, to subscribe for that data. Okay, and some other person use the same amount, 3,000, subscribe for the same quantity of data, right? Now you have invested your, okay, your own has yielded the highest interest output value for you. And what was the value that was yielded for you? That 3,500 enabled you to attend an online training that equipped you with a lot of values and knowledge that you need for 2025. Another person will use that 3,500 to buy data and watch all the comedy skits and watch all the gossip on the different blogs and go to Instagram and laugh, and then go to status and post things that will make us laugh. Remember that our speaker yesterday said, if all you post on your status is something that makes people laugh, then you are not ready. You should go and throw it at phone. So the same amount, we bought data, my own has yielded knowledge for me. Another person's own was used on laughing. So let's say what that's yielded for the person was emotional relief. And say laughter is good for the body, right? Some other person's own might just be, you go online, start watching people who are couples who are fronting that they're happily married, and you start feeling like, my God, when will it be me? You know, you're feeling like, when will it be me? And life is passing you by. You're allowing yourself to get depressed, you know, seeing people on their pajamas, Christmas pajamas, whatever. You're allowing yourself get depressed. So you see, it's yielded the same amount of money, yielded different things for different people. That is what money management is. So if I'm buying data on my phone, I know that data that I'm buying, that money that I'm going to spend to buy that data will yield returns for me. Don't spend 10,000 every month buying data just to be online. Make sure that data you're buying, if you sit down to calculate the value that you got because you had that data, you'll be happy you spent that amount. So that is what it means that your money yields the highest interest output value for any amount that you spend, any amount at all. The money management starts from planning, which is financial goal setting and budgeting. And thank God we have talked about goal setting, which is why I told us that day I think it was a better fit to come up before talking about any other course. So what are the benefits of money management? It gives you control over your money. Knowing that you have a good budget to fall back on each month will give you the confidence and peace of mind of knowing you are in control of your money.
The blue charger very well. Will you make sure that there's light? You didn't put it in well.
Mute your mic? Miriam, mute your mic, please. Let's mute our mic. So I was saying it gives you control over your money. Knowing that you have a good budget to fall back on each month will give you the confidence and peace of mind of knowing you're in control of your money. There are people that budget their monthly expenses. So if you know that every month, like somebody was talking to me about saving. She's part of my savers club, and I told her I'm saving XYZ amount every month. And she was like, "Are you for real?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Oh, she's been." I said, "Why not up it to this amount monthly? And with time, you'll be able to balance. You shouldn't remain at the level you were saving last year. You should increase it. You should always keep increasing it." And she said, "Oh, okay, I've planned my feeding for the whole of January, so I don't have to buy any food stuff. I've also, now, in the Savers Club, she's going to be the one to, because there are different things we do. We either you save yourself, or we save as a group, and every month one person packs what we call the Ajo, right? So she's going to be the one to pack by the 10th of January. And when she collects that bulk fund, she will use it to pay her house rent, which is due this January. So she said, "I've organized my feeding for the whole of January, and then my rent is sorted. So yes, I can push up to the amount you are recommending." So if you have, organized your budget like she did, you can be confident to do so many things. It will increase your confidence. It will increase your peace of mind. Now she has peace of mind that if she increases her savings, she will not go hungry throughout the month of January. I stated, she has been saving through the year, dropping something monthly, because she knows that in January I will save aimlessly. You must tie your savings to something. As a matter of fact, you tell me what you're tying your savings to, right? You must tie your savings to something. You must tie your savings to something so that I would help you be accountable to that thing. I'll help you to be accountable to that thing. And when she did that, it really helped her. Now she doesn't have to run around in January like so many other people will be running around. And I was talking about how much fees I pay in my son's school. The secret to being able to pay the amount that I pay every January, every May, and every September is simple. The secret is simply that I save, and I choose these strategic months to be the beneficiary. So you see that if you do this, if you practice this, if you practice, managing your funds properly, you will not, how do I put it? You will not be running up and down when it's time to pay the bills. You'll not be running up and down when it's time to pay the bills. So that is another benefit of managing your funds. spend on NEPA bill or buying your NEPA unit every month? Do you have an idea of how much you spend buying your NEPA unit every month? Do you have an idea of how much you spend buying airtime every month? Do you have an idea of how much you spend fueling your car every month? Do you have an idea of all these things? Or do you just drive into the filling station and you buy fuel? When this whole fuel increase started, I was buying 20,000 every week. I buy 20,000 every week. And that would carry me maybe till Friday, Saturday, I'll have to buy again and all that. So on the average, I knew that what I spend is between 85 to 90,000 monthly on fueling alone. And when it further increased to 1,007 something, I had to increase to buying 30K every week. So when you are able to keep track of your spending, you will know where you're spending too much, where you're spending too little. And so because I know that I spend so much on fuel, you can't get me to come out anyhow. It has to be really very important for me to drive out. It has to give me the highest interest output for that money that I spent in buying fuel for me to come. So I don't go out just for the sake of going out anymore. I go out for business purposes. I go out for things that are important. Unlike before that somebody will say, we did Millennium Park, show, yes, sure, we just drive and go. So this time around, even if I have to go and have fun, we have to plan it. Okay, we're hanging out XYZ day. So if I now know I'm hanging out XYZ day, I will now plan maybe every other meeting, every other schedule around that day, so that I know that I went to this area. I will fix every meeting close to the point of the hangout. And I did 1, 2, 3, 4 engagements around Wuse 2 before I come back home. So it helps me to know how to manage my movements because I know how much I spend on a weekly basis. Now it has translated to 120,000 plus every month. So that's not the kind of money you want to spend and be gallivanting around town. So it makes it easier to stay aware of your savings and debts. I'm very much aware of my savings. I know how much I save every month. And so once money is coming in, I know where I'm channeling it to because I save in 4 different platforms, not 3. One of them is for the September school fees that's always very heavy being first term. I save in another place for January school fees that's not as heavy. I save in another place for May school fees that's not as heavy, So now I have new projects that I want to save for. I will have to increase my savings in 2025. And because I'm also thinking of increasing my savings in 2025, I'm also thinking about increasing my income. Because where am I saving the money from? My income. That's where I'm saving it from. So I have to start looking for other streams of income that will bring the money so that when I increase my savings, I will not increase my savings and be stuck or be disappointing. I will increase my savings and I'll still be able to meet up, So you are aware of your debt. You are aware of where your money is going to. If you keep a good budget, you'll be aware of all these things. You even know how to pay off your debt. You know how to identify when you have additional money that you can redirect into savings or spend on occasional treats. And it's good to treat yourself. Like I said, when we're talking about goal setting, you should treat yourself when you achieve a milestone, when you feel like, okay, I've ticked out this goal. Give yourself a reward system, Then it helps you save for unexpected cost. The best thing that can happen to anyone is to have an emergency fund and you have a backup money somewhere to sort it out immediately rather than running around looking for help. So when my dad passed, right, remember I told us that I save and I choose the month of August so that the money comes into my account in September, which is the month that school resumes for the first term. And so there was a hiccup, there was kind of a hiccup somewhere. And they had to move me to September instead of August. And when I told the coordinator, I said, my month is always August. why did you move me? So, okay, when we're calculating, we omitted somebody's name. So we had to put the person in July and then move the person that was supposed to be in July to August and move you who was in August to September. And I'm like, and she said, go and talk to the person in August. And I didn't want to start going to talk to anybody. So I just forgot about it. And I had to start thinking of where to get the school fees since I can't get my contribution as scheduled again in August. And somehow I got the fees I paid when school resumed. Now in August, that money that I was expecting that was moved to September dropped in my account in October. And that was when we were preparing for burial. And I had chosen, when they gave us allocations, choose what you would do. It's my father we're talking about. So I knew I wanted to do something huge for the burial to honor his memory. And I told them I will buy the cow. So when that money dropped in October, my bank alert, you know how P-Square say my bank alert na Begem, so the thing just dropped, Begem, and I was so happy. And I just carried the money and I transferred it to my sister and I said, for the cow. Omo, I became the emperor, the conqueror, the champion, the lion is here. Why? Because I had a backup plan. I had a backup plan. I didn't have to go and start looking for people and say, raise committee of friends for me, contribute for me, don't contribute for me. Even when my friends say, I want to raise committee, I said, I don't want. When they kept announcing in a particular group, I called some people, I said, please stop announcing for me. I don't like it. Leave it alone. Anybody that thinks that they should, help me because I lost my dad, they don't need an announcement to say, send your account number. But if you have to keep repeating and people are not, you are embarrassing me. I don't like that embarrassment. Don't form my billionaire hand, And I was able to do my thing quietly. If you give to me, God bless you. If you not give to me, God bless you. We're still friends. No hard feelings. I'm not angry with anybody that you did not give me something when my father died. No. It is people who do not plan, who do not have an emergency fund, who do not have a backup, that will be angry at some other person's financial decision. It is your decision to choose to give to me or not to give to me. And that is the mentality that we have in Africa. Everybody feels entitled. Because your sister has money more than you just feel she should automatically become your provider. If she doesn't give to you, she's forming. Is it because God blessed you first? And go and hustle and let God bless you too. Shebi, he said he will bless the works of our hands. So you need to have an emergency fund. You need to have an emergency fund so that when things like this come up, you don't put yourself under unnecessary pressure and you don't put people who do not know how your problem came about under pressure. You don't put yourself under pressure. You don't put people under pressure. You will be at peace knowing that I got this. I got this covered. Okay. So it also shows you where money issues may likely come from. If you have a good money management system, if you practice it, you will know where you're going to have problems. So any week I don't have 30K in my account to fuel my car, I know that week I'm going to have fuel issues. So before time, maybe I'll start thinking of who is owing me. I'll start thinking of, okay, which of my friends now can I disturb? Oh, let me call this one. Oh yeah, babe, how far? Find me 30K there now. I already know that I'm going to have a 30K problem if 30K does not land in my account by Saturday when I will need to buy my fuel. It's not full tank, so sorry for that slip of tongue. So you see, it helps you figure out what you can borrow and be able to pay back. The reason why a lot of people are in debt is because they don't have details of their finances. So you just go ahead to borrow and then you end up discovering that you borrowed much more than your income can support to pay after all expenses. You need to know what your income is. You need to know what you save from your income. You need to know what you spend on feeding from your income. You need to know what is left after all your expenses, so that you can now say, okay, if I borrow, at the end of all my expenses and my savings, I have 20K. So I can afford to make an arrangement where I'll tell them I'll be paying 20K monthly. You cannot be unrealistic and say, borrow me. I promise you next month, once they pay my salary out. You can't do that. Okay, so having this good money management skills will help you stay organized financially. Now, one of the definitions says money management has to do with planning. Planning is the process of thinking regarding the activities required to achieve a desired goal. So you have to think through the activities that you need to do. I mentioned that I want to increase my savings in 2025, and I'm already thinking through how can I increase my income if I'm going to achieve my desired goals of increasing my savings for the new project that I want to save for. Okay, so I have to think about what else can I do to increase my income? How can I do to be able to earn XYZ amount in the year 2025 so I can be able to save XYZ amount? All right, so planning is based on foresight, the fundamental capacity for mental time travel, when you can travel into your future, when you can travel there and see what you want. Okay, I always like to take people through this exercise, but since we're going to talk about the vision board, I'm going to skip it for now, and we'll do that when we get to the vision board, right? So now let's talk about budgeting. Making money is one thing. Like I'll always say, everybody can make money, but not everyone can manage money, right? You make money by working. You make money by maybe people dash you, because even children make money. Like this festive season now, a lot of children will get money when uncles, aunties come around, when you go to visit your relatives, your children will be giving a thing or two, so they will make money. Okay, but you manage money by budgeting it. So it's easier to make money. Where the work is budgeting your money. And then budgeting is a financial planning tool that helps you use the money you make wisely. And it involves estimating your income, expenditures, and projects in a way that your financial goals will be achieved. Estimating your income, your expenditures, and projects in a way that your financial goals will be achieved. Now, it also helps you to be in control of your money and giving it direction rather than your money controlling you. When you budget, you're in control of your money. You're the one that gives your money direction. Why should you budget? Why do I need a budget? Understand that money is a currency. It's called currency, and anything that has currency has direction. So it means that it moves in different directions. So why do you need to budget? Because it is your responsibility to set the direction you want your money to go to. Otherwise, it will choose its own direction because there must be a flow. Have you ever gotten money that you did not plan for? Maybe money just came in. Somebody just gifted you 100,000. You didn't plan for it. You were not expecting it. It's not part of one of those income that you were looking out for, right? If you are not someone who has a very good money management system in place, you might not know where that 100K entered. That's when you remember that, oh, let me go and buy shawarma. You go and buy shawarma. That's when you remember that, oh, I need to do my nails. You might end up scattering that money in things that will not give you value. But if you're someone that plans your money and that 100K comes in, you say, oh, this is an addition. Let me add it to XYZ project. And then if somebody asks you, how did you spend that 100K? You can actually give account of how you spend it, how you spent it. So if you don't give your money direction, your money will choose its own direction because it's a currency, just like the electricity current that flows, and the electricity current is giving direction through those armored cables. When the cable is connected from the transformer and passed to your house into your what do they call that board? It gives light to your house. So they gave it a direction to your house, just like water channels. The water currency might be so high that if it doesn't have a channel that it has to flow through, it will scatter all over. And so that's why if you go to the Kainji Dam, you see that they built a very big dam to collect the water that is flowing from, the rocks and all that. So you must give your money direction. Everything that has a current needs to be given direction. Now, a lot of people think that having a budget means scarcity or depriving yourself of a fun-filled life. On the contrary, a budget is simply a plan on how to allocate your resources, and it should reflect your value. It should reflect your value. If I collect your bank account now and I take a look at it, I can tell you what your values are. I can tell you what you spent the most money in doing in 2024, and that reflects your value. So if everything I saw is payment for Ashwebi and payment for hair, I will know that you're a slave queen. You just like to look good. That's your value. But if I carry your bank statement and I see pay for Coursera, I see payment for workshop, buying of books. This one, it shows me that you're a person that is particular about personal development. So your bank, being that you budget doesn't mean you should be stingy to yourself. It just means that you're allocating your resources in the places that matter, to reflect what you believe, to reflect your value system. So it's not only character that shows your value system, even your expenses depict your value system. So let's go ahead. Now, how do you create a budget? How do you create a budget? Okay, so for you to create a budget, you have to start by having a full understanding of what your income can support. I've already said that. Have a full understanding of what your income can support so that you don't go and start borrowing to meet up because your income cannot support a particular thing, right? Then have a spending plan for your income, no matter how small or huge your income is. So as you're entering into 2025, you know what your salary is, or you know what your income is from your business at the end of every month. If you don't know it, maybe you should use the first 3 months to be able to access plus or minus, this is how much I make from my business as profit. That is your income. Don't count your capital as income, please. Know how to separate your profits from your capital. Your profit is now your income. And then you ask yourself, how do I spend it? Even though it's little, you can now say, okay, this goes for feeding, this goes for that. So know how to divide your income into long-term financial goals, short-term financial goals, and living expenses. Okay, know how to divide your income into these 3 categories. So you see that every time we talk about goal setting, planning, budgeting, you always get to divide it into long-term, mid-term, and short-term. So now, when you divide your goals into this is what it would look like. Your long-term financial goals. And this should be a minimum of 20%, and it's required to improve your net worth through investment, asset acquisition that will further provide income. Okay, so it should be like 20% of your income. Now, your short-term financial goals is 10% of your income set aside on buying all those luxury items like your bags, your phones, for you to hang out. Remember, I said that budgeting does not mean you won't have fun. So you should always have your turn-up account. They call it turn-up money. And if it's for a girl going to hang out on a date, they call it, what's that word we call it again? The one that if the guy does nonsense, you stand up and walk away and pay your bills and not pay.
Vex money. Vex
If
money.
somebody have vex money, they call it vex money. So you should have your 10% that you allocate to vex money, your turn up money. It's not every time you turn up, your friend should be the one to pay the bills. Even if your friend say, come, I got this. He might got this, but when you get there, you now discover that because of inflation, what he thought used to be 2K is now 5K, and he doesn't know how to tell you he doesn't get it again. When you see his facial expression, say, don't worry, let's share the bills. Learn to step in. Let's share the bills. Don't always be, give me. The person might come and say, I no ask you, but just go ahead and, pay the bills. Do something, This 10% includes your luxury holidays. When Mr. Joshua was talking about the expendables, he said, if you've not started planning a vacation from January, you might not be able to go to a vacation in December because you cannot afford it anymore. So if you start setting aside something from your income and say, this December, I'm taking my children to Dubai, you will find out that even if you don't have what you need as at that December, you would have gotten more than half of the funds, and then you just maybe take from 1, 2, 3 other places and make it up, and you go for your luxury holiday. So we work hard so that we can play hard. I'm a groove mistress, so forget all these things. People think I'm serious. I'm serious when I have to be serious, but I love fun, baby. And my friends know that. They know that I like to have fun. I like to enjoy myself. So if I do something and I achieve one very big, I take myself out to the spa. I don't wait for nobody to take me anywhere. If I want to go to the movies, I take myself. If I want to go to shopping, I take myself. If you decide to do for me, that's one, Najara. So you need to develop yourself to that point where if your spouse does something, Jara, if he doesn't do it, we're good. We're not fighting. We will not quarrel. Money cannot make me and you quarrel, And that's a fact for me. Money can't make me quarrel with you. I learned that a long time ago. So you need to have that short-term financial goals, where you use to flex yourself. Never deprive yourself of your turn-up account. By all means, have an account for fun. I see most of my friends, taking care of their family. They will spend every single dime sorting family issues. And that's why you see 90% of them, though they've been able to pay their family bills, they are depressed because they'll tell you, I'm working, but I'm not using the money on myself. Learn to use your money on yourself. Learn to pay yourself. Even if you have children, pay yourself. When you buy something for them, after buying for them, buy your own. It happens to we mothers especially. This Christmas, you go out and buy something for every other person. You buy your children shoes, you buy them clothes, you make their hair, you make them look good, they'll dress up, you make a dress for your husband. And at the end of the day, you might not remember to do anything for yourself. Maybe it's just your nails you want to fix. Who says you can't buy hair for yourself? Who says you shouldn't do all that for yourself? So don't deprive yourself. By all means, always pay yourself first, because if you're happy, then things will work out fine. You'll be more productive, like we heard from the mental health session. So pay yourself. Pay yourself. Before you send to your parents, am I saying don't give to your parents? No, give to your parents. But if you have all these things budgeted, you will see that you're not even grumpy about sending money home because you have a budget. And as much as possible, if you have a budget, I want to be giving my family 150,000 every month, and you have given them that 150,000, and that month the 150K has finished, and they come to ask for another one, tell them, I'll carry it over to next month's budget, except it's an emergency. And that's why we said have an emergency fund, because some family, some parents just keep making requests in quick successions. And I know what I'm talking about. Okay. If it has to do with health and all that, that's different. But if it's just, I need this one in the house, so we need to repaint the house, so we need to buy freezer in the house, so what happened to the old freezer? It's too small. All those things, no, let them wait. Okay. Don't kill yourself for nobody, because the truth is, if you run out of money now, their life will continue. If you're unable to give to them now, their life will not be on hold. So don't keep yours on hold for them. Then your living expenses is 60% of your income that covers your monthly or daily needs, like feeding, transportation, utility bills, and healthcare. So you should also put away monthly amounts for your rent. If you know how much your rent is every year, calculate how much you need to put away every month. That will give you that amount by the time your rent is due. Then your emergency fund is 10% of your income and should be kept away for unforeseen emergencies. All right, let's proceed. I hope you are understanding me so far. Do we have any questions so far? Or any place you need me to clarify? Are we following?
Yes, we're following.
Yes, we
All right. Okay, so the next is importance of budgeting. You are able to determine where you are when you are living above your means or within or below your means. So if you do your budgeting well, you know whether you are living above, within, or below. All right. It helps you in your savings and investment goals. It helps in your savings and investment goals. It helps determine if you are progressing towards your financial goals or retrogressing. It helps you prepare for your statutory bills, your financial emergencies, as well as contingencies, because you don't know what will come up tomorrow. You might be driving your car and a car that left the house sound just before your office, the thing stops moving, and you have to have funds, not calling someone else to say, I beg my car stop for road. Okay, so have funds to be able to do things for yourself. Let it be that is when it gets out of hand, you can now start calling for help. But for the first few minutes, be able to do it yourself. Now, it helps you prepare. I've said that, helps you stay out of debts or get out of debt if you're already in one. Okay, and then budgeting helps reveal areas where you are spending too much so you can adjust it. So let's talk about savings. What is savings? According to Wikipedia, right, savings is income not spent or deferred consumption. So in other words, it is the money set aside for future use and not spent immediately. Savings is not what is left after spending. Rather, savings is the fraction of your income taken out before spending. You know, why some people don't save rightly is because they save what is remaining. You're not supposed to save what is remaining. You're supposed to stake out what you want to save, then spend what is left. That is how it is done. That is not how it is done. And this quote here says, it's not how much you make each month that matters, it's how much you save. It's how much you save that matters more than what you make. Because although savings will not make you rich, okay, but savings is the first step to wealth, to building wealth. Savings is the first step. It will not make you rich, but it's the first step, and I'll explain as we go further. So savings is not what is left after spending. I've already said that, but it's what you take out and save before you even commence your spending. Saving involves reducing expenditure such as recurring cost. So if I know a particular cost is recurring, I should look for a way to reduce it. In this time and age where a lot of us have Netflix, Prime, Showmax on our phones, you should cut down on your DSTV. So maybe you should do the family, right? DSTV family, for the purpose of your children who don't have Netflix, Prime, and all that on their phones. No longer doing the full bouquet, because if you do the full bouquet, you're wasting your money. We know that DSTV repeats and repeats and repeats movies. They don't even have new movies. So what do? Cut down on this one, and then, know where to cut down on your savings, especially your recurring expenses. Now, financial experts believes that savings is the core of what will set you up for financial success. So having money saved up will provide you more options and enable you maximize opportunities properly. Now, what do I mean by having more options and maximize opportunities properly? Remember that I said that savings will not make you wealthy, but it's a tool, it's the first step in wealth creation. So if you have money saved up, it will give you a lot of opportunities. Take, for instance, someone wants to Japan now. When people want to relocate during recession and during crisis period, there's always distressed sales, right? Like during the COVID 2020, the 2 landed properties I have in Abuja, I bought it during COVID. Why? People were hungry. So people were giving up their assets for money. And when people are selling in distress like that, they sell it cheaper than the original value. So during the COVID, I got a property in town that was going for 6 million at 2 million. Why? Because someone was looking for money. And I was fortunate to be the one that had the money. And I have a land that when I'm ready to settle down well in Abuja, I will go and develop my duplex and I'll be living my life. Why? Because I had savings. So savings act as a buffer that cushions the effects of emergencies. I had one of my members of the Savers Club. He was doing a personal savings of 15,000 naira every month. I know I told you that 15,000 every day. I know I told you must tell me what you want to use the money for. So he said, okay, I bought a hired purchase car and a landed property, and I'm supposed to be paying something monthly. So I want to be able to be paying 150,000 monthly. So I'm going to be saving 15K every month, every day, to be able to, no, 5,000 every day. Was it 5 or 15? I can't remember now. To be able to achieve that money at the end of the month. And so he did it in January, February, March, April, May, June, July. He calls me up one afternoon because every 30th of the month I give him, or the first of the next month, I give him what he has saved. So he called me like maybe on the 17th of the month and he said, I beg, please, I need my money. I said, what do you need your money for? He said, it's an emergency. I said, okay, can I hear the emergency? I'll be the one to decide if it's emergency enough or not. Because that's what you signed up for. And some people will say, hey, I'll talk my own money again. As far as you signed it and you agreed, because I will explain to you. You signed and you agreed that I will not release your money except I consider what you need it for to be an emergency. And he said, my wife is in the hospital. It's not yet her due date, but she has to go through a CS right now. So I need the money to deposit for the surgery. And I'm like, send your account number. And immediately I wired the money to him. Now you see that his savings helped him cushion the effect of that emergency. If not, he would have started calling family and friends, disturbing the whole church, disturbing pastor that was not there when you were having fun, telling the whole community that your wife went into labor suddenly. And like I will always say, his wife may have had an emergency CS, but you see that emergency CS was at maybe the 8th or 9th month. So it still wasn't an emergency per se, because you know that from 8 months, you should start preparing for birth. Anything can happen. So you now say, my wife went into labor suddenly. No, pregnancy gives you 9 months to plan. House rent gives you 12 months to plan. School fees, we know when we pay school fees, January, May, September. So at least school fees gives you a minimum of 3 to 4 months to plan. So why do you always wait to the last minute to start running up and down looking for the funds? And so when I make a statement, my favorite slogan, that no bill should ever take you unaware, is based on knowing that you plan for these bills. Every single bill you pay, you plan for it, so that when it is time, you pay. The highest that can happen, maybe with your school fees or with your house rent, is that it can be delayed, but the delay should not even be more than a month. Just like what would have happened to me in August if I didn't have another source of income that now helped to take care of the school fees, why the savings now took care of my contribution to my father's burial. All right. So you see, you need to have that savings at all cost in the year 2025. It will save you from a lot of things. Saving helps you reduce the pressure of paying bills. I don't need to explain it again. I'm sure that with the examples I've given, it's very well explained. Savings, some days later, when the guy's wife gave birth, I now called him. I said, how are you? He said, fine. How is your wife? Fine. Are you people discharged? Yes. I said, now, do you see why it was important that you had the savings? I said, Shabi, you know that if you didn't have these savings, you'd have been running up and down, disturbing your whole family. He said, man, you are right. And from that day till today, that guy, he's no longer saving 5K monthly. He's now saving 200K every month. So you see, if you don't understand these things, you would think someone is depriving you from having fun. Is it easy to save? Not at all. It is not easy. It's one of the most difficult things. Because when your mates are buying that Gucci bag, you are going to save money. It's not easy, but it pays off in the long run. Saving helps boost your confidence. Why was I confident, among other things, to choose cow when I know the price of cow? Why was I confident to choose it? Because I knew I had money somewhere. I knew I had money somewhere coming in. If I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to do it. In fact, when I selected all the things I was going to do in the burial, I only made mention of the cow because that was the one I used the bulk funds for. But there are other things I did. When I selected it, my younger sister said, come, do you want to use all the money you have and do burial? What gave me that confidence? I knew where I had money. I knew where this and this and this was going to come from. I knew where it was going to come from. And so it gave me the confidence to be able to pick and pay all those bills. After doing the one for burial, I now did the one for personal, which is booking flight. And we know how much flights is now in Nigeria. Imagine booking the flight for my son and myself, return, and then the burial was cancelled, and we had to pay to, reschedule for the new date. That was a lot. But if I didn't have my finances managed properly, a lot of you here on this call, I'm sure I would have called all of you at one point or the other. Please borrow me 100,000. Please borrow me 200,000. I bet if you dash me 50K for there, I bet, can you just help me and let me just buy airtime that I'll use in the village? If I didn't have all these things, did I know that I was going to have a burial in the year 2024? No. So it wasn't even as if I was saving for burial. I wasn't. But I had emergency funds. I had savings. I had different savings in different places. They were going to mature at different times. And so it was just an opportunity for me to dip into those places confidently and pay those bills. So let's proceed. Tips and tricks for savings. Set your saving goals. Set your savings goal. You need to set your goals for your savings in this year 2025. Have a goal. How much will you save monthly? I was discussing with the speaker of yesterday this morning, and we're discussing our savings goals. And I told him, I said, add this other one. And because he has an idea of his income, he said, I cannot be able to add it. If I add it, I won't be able to support, the commitment monthly. But this one is too small. This one is too big. I say, you don't have real life issues. Go and figure it out. So he already knows what he saves monthly. And he knows how much more he can add to what he saves monthly that will not be too much of a burden, that he will not be fighting and struggling too much to fulfill at the end of every month. So have a savings goal. And it takes us back to SMART goals. Even in your finances, even in your savings goals, save smartly. Be specific about how much you want to save. The amount must be measurable. Don't just say, I want to save money in 2025. How much? Okay, now to break it down into measures. How much monthly? What is the time frame you want to use to save a particular amount of money every month? This amount must be measurable, achievable, and realistic, considering your present financial conditions. Don't go and start saving 200K because I said somebody is saving 200K and your salary is 120K. Where will you get the remaining 80K from? Okay, what about your feeding? What about other things? If you even now get 80K, do you want to save the whole 200K? Won't you spend some? So you need to, if my savings is 120K, I've already given us your long-term, short-term. Okay, 10% is going here, 20% is going here, 60% is going here. So you need to set those goals. If you want to put them in currency form, you can now say, okay, 5,000 goes into my short-term savings plan, 20,000 goes into my long-term. Be specific and do what you can support monthly. Do what you can support monthly. It's meant to be precept above precept. If you're able to conquer a particular level, you'll see that next year you would have mastered what did I do rightly this year, and you'll be able to up your savings. So don't start and say, I'll start saving 500K every month when you've not even saved 50K. Okay, so start from somewhere. Have a budget. You can start saving. You can't start saving if you don't track your spending. When you know where most of your money is going, it helps you to start saving for the things that matter, as well as cutting down unnecessary expenses. So me, I know that the biggest place my money goes to is on school fees. School fees. So any savings that I'm doing that has not included school fees is not a savings. That's where my money goes to. So what my priority always is to save towards that. So cut down on impulse spending and shop smart. Buy only what you need. Practice cooking at home as against, eating out. Pack your lunch from the house. It will help you cut down on expenses. Take advantage of auctions and scrap sales. When Jumia is doing all this, their Black Friday. Now Temu is doing a lot of free shopping. You can get some items free and then buy some, go on Temu, check these things. Oh, I need a laptop. They'll now tell you if you can spend so amount, we'll give you these other things. So you might end up buying a laptop and then you have a free laptop cover. You have a free tripod stand. You have a free laptop stand. You have a free earpod and all those things. Cut down on shopping on impulse. Plan your shopping. Look for places where you can get that same thing at the same quality. You can get the same quality, but at a cheaper price. Take, for instance, you go to Transcorp to buy a bag. You go to Sedi Plaza or any of these ShopRites to buy a bag. You go to Wuse Market to buy the same bag. You go to Banex to buy the same bag. And the price is going to be the same. It's the same bag, the same quality. the same bag, the same quality, are the price is going to be the same? I need responses. Somebody said my Zoom and my slide is not changing, so let me reshare. If I buy a Gucci bag from Transcorp or from Wuse Market or from Banex or from ShopRite, are the prices going to be the same? The prices cannot be the same. Are you seeing my screen now? So the prices cannot be the same. So why should you go and buy it from Transcorp? Most times, it's for the glam. You're buying it from Transcorp just for the glam. So that when you're inside the shop in Transcorp, you know the selfie, you now put it on your status, and everybody will see that I'm shopping from Transcorp. Okay, you can now see my slide. But if I enter Wuse Market and buy my Gucci bag jelly from a very good shop in Wuse Market, who brings her products from Turkey or US or wherever they bring it from, buy my Louis Vuitton from Wuse Market, and I come out and you buy your own from Transcorp and you come out, I have saved money, but we're carrying the same quality of bag. So learn to buy and shop smartly. Make savings automatic. You can use apps. I was expecting that yesterday during our IT training would have seen some apps that can help you save. I was expecting that he will show us a bit of that, but maybe next time. You can use apps to save, apps like all these piggy vests where you lock the funds and they take it automatically from your account. You can place a standing instruction on your account for a percentage of every inflow to be deducted and saved in a dedicated fixed account. So if you go to bank, you can place a standing instruction for every inflow that comes in, remove 10% into this account, and they will do it. It will be automatic. The only downside to that is, for instance, I use my money for different purposes. Okay, so if you use your money, say for instance, I'm the one that manages the funds of my church choir in Abuja, right? So if I go and do that standing instruction on my account, and maybe one of the chapter choir sends in their allocation, they're now going to remove 10% from church money. Who will pay it? So that's the downside to having that. So if you have to do that, you have to be sure that the money that comes into that particular account is only your money, so that you don't enter basic because you ready to give a standing instruction. Okay, and you can join local thrift or contribution clubs. We run one, so if you're interested in joining us, you can hit me up after this session, and if you can meet up with our terms and conditions, then we'll be good to go. You can get rid of debts easily, desist from borrowing as much as you can. Try not to borrow. If you must borrow, make sure you have concrete plans of how you're going to repay it. Discipline yourself to live within your means. It's hard, but try. But most importantly, if you want to collect some kind of funds, I will advise you don't use the word borrow. I'll advise you use the word, please, I need 20K. Can you help me with anything from that? The person might say, I beg, I don't think give 20K, or you take 5K. You've gotten 5K, remaining 15. Look for 2-3 other people that you can you help me with 5K? One of my sessions, I talked about how you can raise funding. And that's one of the ways, right? Instead of using the word borrow, if you use the word borrow for me, you have to pay me back. But you can say, give me. I can decide I don't have up to 20K to give you. I will give you what I can. Even if it's that 20K, if it's 2K I gave you, that's something. It has reduced the amount to 18,000. So as much as possible, reduce borrowing, get rid of debt, desist from it, because that is a very big bondage, a very big bondage. Then there are 4 types of savings that everyone who is serious about gaining mastery of their money should engage in. I'm not going to waste time because I've listed these things. We have the emergency fund. This is the fund that cushions the effects of your finances. It's like the safety net of your finances. It protects you from long-term, investments and all that. It protects your long-term investments from short-term unexpected expenses. This is your do not touch fund. It is the first kind of savings you want to establish. It's kind of like a fire extinguisher, right? You need to have a fire extinguisher in 2025. When something unexpected pops up and costs you money, the emergency funds is used to take care of it. The volume of your emergency funds is advised to be enough to take care of your living expenses for 9 months in the event of job loss. It should be able to take care of you for at least 9 months. So you see, nobody plans that they're going to lose their job next month. But if you now lose your job next month, should you start begging just immediately? Should you start throwing pity party all around? No. So I'm out of job. But remember, I told you that I left my job since January, which means I was not receiving that monthly salary again. But because of the business I do here and there, and then the savings I have here and there, I was still able to meet up with my bills up till now. Up until now. So I was telling someone that what it cost me to organize this workshop, the registration did not cover it. But why am I able to do it? Because I have funds stashed out somewhere, no matter how small. Always have emergency funds in case of job loss, in case of health and you are unable to work, in case of medical emergencies, sudden home and car repair. It's a thing of, it's a state of emergency for you not to have an emergency fund. Declare a state of emergency on your funds if you don't have emergency funds. So you also need to look at recurrent fund. That's the second type of savings you should have. The first is the emergency fund. The second is a recurrent fund. And this is where your short-term financial goals falls in and your living expenses falls in. The expenses that you plan for, some occur more frequently than others. Examples are gifts, travels, beauty or hair appointments, feeding, utility bills, transportation, amongst others, right? So you need to figure out what's coming up and put some money away to put for them. Such funds can be kept in envelopes or accounts where you can easily access them. Remember that emergency funds are kept in an account where you say do not touch. Like I have an emergency fund account that is my son's account. That account, once you send money into the account, know that I cannot go there because I have to go over the counter to go and use a counter check to withdraw it. I don't have that kind of power. So that's like my emergency funds. So my living expenses, my recurrent funds are now in my Zenith Bank. My Zenith Bank is where my living expenses are. So once I don't have money in my Zenith Bank and somebody comes to me and say, please, can you help me transfer some amount? Once there's no money in my Zenith Bank, I'm sorry, I don't have money in my transfer account. So I can't help you at that time. You cannot kill me. And then that was also a coping mechanism for me because I really don't know how to say no to people. And I've said, and I have given and given even to my own heart. So when I started separating my accounts, like I have a Fidelity Bank account, I don't know where the card is. I don't do transfer with that account. So the money there is stuck until any day I have an emergency that will make me go to the bank for it. I have my company account. My Zenith company account is the regular account where I used to do daily transactions. Like I've made some transactions today. But you see, my FCMB company account where the registration was made, the money that was paid there, I've not touched it. My third bank account is for the savings, like that. So you need to have this account where you know that this ones I cannot touch, this one I can touch easily. Now we have the recurrent funds, and after the recurrent funds, the next is project funds. It's the kind you save for specific projects or purchases. Most times projects or events that require a lot of funds, such as purchasing a car. And like I said, when you have these savings, if somebody who wants to relocate now wants to save a car, you will have money to be able to buy. Like somebody was planning to relocate and I was like, oh, to change houses, right? To change apartments. I was like, help me, this is my budget. And we're looking for a house, only for him to stumble on someone who wants to relocate out of the country. And the person was willing to sell his property along with the remaining rent of the house. And this accommodation was a perfect fit for what we were looking for. It was this amount of rooms that we needed, and then the furniture was just it. And what did the person do? The person quickly bargained, paid for the remaining rent that the man who is relocating had, and bought some of the furnitures and moved into the house. So it saved him money that he would have used to furnish his house, because he was moving in from a self-con, where he doesn't have things. All he had was his mattress and all that. He was now moving into a real apartment. He would have needed to buy kitchen utensils. He would have needed to buy fridge. He would have needed to buy television, all those things. But because he had savings, he was able to maximize the opportunity that came. And that's why I said savings might not be what will make you wealthy, but is a first step to wealth creation. Now, his savings has yielded him a very good deal. He got the kind of house he wanted with furnitures that if he had to start buying television one by one, he will not even pay 1.5 to buy all he needs, kitchen utensils, fridge, all those things, plus rent. 1.5 won't have been enough, but that was a very good deal. Okay, so you need to save for things like that, projects, so that when you see that car just come up, you now just go to your savings, and the distress might be selling a car of 4 million for 1.5, and you take that opportunity to buy a very good car for international travels, for big events like weddings, amongst others. If I know that I'm going to marry in September, I should have a savings towards that. Okay, then your long-term savings, this covers savings for retirement, savings for your children's university education. This category can also include your house savings to start a business or investments. All these things. You can even do savings for your parents, so that you are not stressing yourself to give them. Anytime they have, you just go to parents' account, send to them. Just go there, send to them. For long-time savings, it's advisable to consider investing your money. Consider investing your money to get ROI, so that you're not just dumping it in the bank and then it's reducing. Some people do savings for their children through all these pension, insurance houses, AIMS, Stanbic IBTC, Lead Pension Fund, Zenith Bank has education, whatever. All these things, you can use all those platforms. If you learn to manage your funds and spread it across like these 4 categories of savings, you have gained financial discipline that will help you manage your money and reduce impulsive spending to the barest minimum, and at the same time reduce pressure on your finances. Okay, so different people are different financial levels. Never forget that. Different people are different financial levels, and you should start from the level where you are. Your level determines what you can do for the 4, right? So other aspects of financial management are investment, and this is multiplying your money. Now, there are 3 M's of financial management. We have making money, we have managing money, which is what we dealt with when we talked about the budgeting, the planning, the savings. Then the next is multiplying your money. And you can do that through investment. So investment has to do with activities and processes that helps you multiply your money and have your money work for you. These most times are the major sources of passive income. Reward for investment or returns for investment, usually ROI, and it could be monthly, quarterly, or annually. What are you investing in? What do you plan to invest in next year? Okay, what do you plan to invest in next year? Then you should also know how to keep your records. It helps you to be accountable. You need to be accountable with your expenses. You need to be accountable with your expenses. Business, personal expenses, account for every cover that you spend. It will help you ascertain then where your money is going to generally, and focus on what you need to spend, what you need to cut down on, what you need to reduce. Then you need to also look into asset acquisition. Savings and investment alone won't make you wealthy. Focus on buying assets. When I had the challenge I had with my business in 2021, 2022, one of the things I wanted to do was sell one of my landed properties. But the person I met in the estate's office for the estate where the property was, he advised me and he said, election period is never a good time to sell your land because politicians are selling, and so the price of land will die. I was able to pay as much as I could. I was able to pay back as much as I could from the investments that we made, and life goes on. So you see, sometimes we make decisions on impulse. I wasn't emotionally whole that year. That's why the next thing was, can I just go and sell this land and have my peace? But someone who was seeing beyond me gave me an advice, and I took it. And I'm happy today. If I want to sell that land today, I will not sell it the price I would have sold it in 2022. So what will make you wealthy is assets. Determine your current level and go for assets with the level that you are. There's something they call land banking. You can decide to buy a land in a very remote place. One of the lands I bought during the COVID was 300,000, somewhere around Maraba. It's the Gariki Hospital estate land. Okay, so I got that property from Gariki Hospital estate land at 300,000. So when Gariki Hospital develops their estate for their staff, the place now has tarred road. Government has gone to do tarred road, so it has a good access. You now know that you no longer sell it the same value we bought it because of the tarred road. Infrastructure is coming into that place. So if I want to sell it, even as at now, the last time I told somebody to value it for me was already amounting to 3 million for a land I bought for 300K. So you see, asset acquisition is what will make you wealthy, not savings, not investments. Investment is for you to have passive income, but for you to create wealth, think assets and start within the level you are. It will appreciate in value, like my 300K has appreciated in value. Okay. Then the next thing is insurance. Insure your valuable assets, business, your house, your car. Most times we don't like insuring our car because we say, I beg, I'm not praying for accident. God forbid, accident is not my portion. That is, Nigerians, we are too spiritual. And then one day it will happen. And then what insurance company, because you pay 75K or highest 100K for 1 year, would have spent 300K to repair your car for you. You're now going to be the one spending the money from your pocket. Have a life insurance for your children. Have a life insurance for the benefit of your children. Okay? Have a life insurance for the benefit of your children. Is everyone hearing me? Am I skipping?
I can hear you.
Okay. So all these people that are not seeing my screen, it's your network. Are you seeing my screen? Is my screen showing?
No, your screen is not showing.
Okay. Okay, so I was saying have life insurance for your children. Always make sure to do that for the benefit of your children. So that in case of any emergency, none of us, we will not die untimely in Jesus' name. Amen. Yes, I agree. But nobody knows tomorrow. Somebody was in church on the Sunday before 24th. I think when was Christmas? Like today now is 30th. That means 24th maybe was on Friday or Saturday, right? He was in church on the Sunday before 24th. And he died on the 24th. And he's 40 years old. And he has a wife and 3 or 4 children. That will not be our portion. But do you know that if he has life insurance, this is the time that his wife will use to go and claim that life insurance. And at least she'll have something to fall back on for maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 years before she can now stand on her feet. Because nobody plans for death, especially at this our young age. But it can happen, right? So while we're not praying for it to happen, we also have to secure the future of our children and our family. So have an insurance. Also have a will. Have a will. If you're a woman, you know you have assets. Like I always used to say, I'm single now, but I have a son, right? I've met my lawyer and I told her every property, every asset, everything of value that I have now that I'm single belongs to my son. When I get married, me and my husband will start building the one for our children, the other 2 children to come, so that my son does not have to come and drag with his step siblings. And he will say, this man does not love me. This man did not give me an inheritance. Okay. So I have settled my son. If I now marry tomorrow and I tell the guy, I tell any guy I'm with from the beginning, I tell the guy, I say, see, whatever I have now belongs to my son. When we now get into the marriage, whatever I now have will now belong to me and you and our children that will come from the marriage. So there's no argument about it. I will say it proper and plain. So you see, even that duplex that I'm going to build, that land belongs to him. So by default, when we build the duplex as husband and wife, the only thing it will do is that it has helped us reduce the burden of rent. But the owner of the house is my son. No 2 ways about it. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children. Have a will. Leave inheritance for your children. Don't die and your children don't even know what you have. It's typical with African men. Don't allow bankers to be the one that will enjoy your sweat and blood, and your wife or your husband will be suffering in penury when you have millions in your account. If they don't know about it, they can't claim it. But if you have all these things written out in your will, when anything happens, your lawyer says, your husband has XYZ account in XYZ bank. This is the details of the account. Go and trace it. Someone died abroad. Somebody's father died abroad. And the son had to travel to go and claim the father's funds. If not that abroad has a very good information system, he wouldn't have gotten half of the money he had. In one account, he got $20,000. In another account, he got $10,000. That was $30,000. And one of the accounts that had $40,000, he could not see the information he needed to claim it. The bank told him, go and bring the documents. He searched his father's house everywhere, and he could not see the document to claim that $40,000. That was the biggest account. So now what will happen to that money? The bank will enjoy the money. But if his father had written, this is this, this is this, this is this, and was able to say, my son, I have a lawyer. This is who my lawyer is. So the guy was just able to come back with the 30,000 and brought his father's corpse back and buried the man in November. So what I'm talking about is not far-fetched. It happened this year, sorry. And I was following up with the guy because he had to go to Australia. He said, I'm coming back tomorrow. He said, I can't come back again. I just discovered there was another account that has a some amount. So the last account that had the biggest amount kept him for months and he still didn't get it. So he had to come back and bury the man. So you see why it's important to have all these things documented, so that when you finally go at your old age, your family know what you have. Now, how to grow your funds. I'm just going to list them because I'm sure I've said a lot of them in our explanation throughout. Take inventory of where you are, cut down on expenses, have a budget, avoid debts or pay off debts, avoid impulse spending, increase cash flow, have investments, diversify your investments. So it's not just enough for you to have investments, also diversify your investments. Don't just stay on one. If you do land, you can do Forex, you can do somebody's business, let them and have equity in the person's business. These are different ways. Invest in assets, invest in personal development in the areas of finance, like you're doing now. Invest more and more on it. There's so many other areas of financial management that we can't go into just in one session. Like debt management is a whole course on its own. Portfolio management, it's a whole course on its own. So there are different aspects of financial management that you should be able to invest in. Gain knowledge, seek advice, seek financial advice. Like the lady I was talking to up her savings, she came to have a discussion with me about her savings. Like the other person that I did investments for that said, I made money, but I don't know where my money went. We had to sit down and look at where her money went to. There are some people that have been in debts and they come and they say, and I'm like, okay, don't do like this, do like this. Don't do this one again. If you do this one again, you put yourself more into the debts. There are times we sit down and have strategies of, okay, how can you do this? How can you come out of this? What do you have? What can you be, and then you are being held accountable to do it. So seek financial advice, especially when you want to go into a business, when you want to start a business, seek financial advice. I was talking to someone yesterday and I said, I told you to attend program. You did not answer me. Now you're crying foul for me. I said, you have a business, but how did you do your pricing in that business? Did you just stand up and give it amount just because maybe that's what every other person are doing? Or did you factor in all your overhead costs? Did you factor in your time? Did you factor in your skill? Did you factor in energy, your energy that you use to do that work? Or you just said, oh, okay, since I bought this thing at 20 naira, let me sell it at 25 naira. So is it the 5 naira that covers your time, skill, expertise, and all that? So how do you even determine your pricing? That's another aspect of financial management. So seek financial advice. Don't just jump and do things. Seek financial advice. I have this money, I don't know what to do with it. Or yeah, bring it, let's invest it in this place, or use it to start this business, or seek financial advice. And involve God before making any decisions. You might take financial advice, but still ask God to help you make the best choice, because human beings are still limited. I am still limited. I will tell you to the level of my knowledge, but God is the one that sees beyond us, that sees beyond now, and sees that if we make this investment, there will be problem in the future. So he will say, don't do it. But we are just seeing now, I've used our financial knowledge to say, if you invest it now, in 2 months, you will get XYZ amount. This is a very good deal. And you don't know that before the end of the 2 months, government policy will come that will affect that investment, and that money will go down the drain. So always involve God in your decisions. In conclusion, the gains of money management far outweighs the disciplines. Gaining mastery of your money will greatly reduce the pressure faced by a lot of people when it's time to pay the bills. Understand that majority of these bills we pay are not sudden. These bills we pay are not sudden at all. Okay, but we put ourselves under pressure when we don't plan. Life is designed to be in phases. An understanding of these phases will help us plan better and be able to pay our bills effortlessly at each phase. No expenses is supposed to take you unawares, not even emergencies. So maybe you should adopt my slogan and keep repeating it to yourself and telling yourself, no bill will ever take me unaware. No bill will ever take me unaware. You see, everything is in excess except money. Therefore, it should be well managed. And when you engage in savings and imbibe a proper savings culture that covers at least 2 out of the 4 types of savings, no bill can ever take you unawares. I said so. Try it. Try it in 2025 and see if you will not have, if you will not have your own testimonies to share. Sometimes when we share these things, it looks like we're bragging. It's not bragging. I've paid the price and I'm still paying the price, and I'll continue to pay the price. So when I can afford what you cannot afford, and I use it to state an example, it's not because I was bragging. It's because I paid the price. I disciplined myself to acquire money management skills, to engage in savings, to engage in investments, to acquire assets, to ensure what I can ensure, and take care of my bills effortlessly. So this is where I'll stop for today, or this is the end of today, so it's not like I'm stopping. So your money, like emotions, is something you must control to keep your life in the right track. Your money is like your emotions. You need to learn how to control your money, just like you learn how to control your emotions. So do we have any questions quickly before we just briefly look at the vision board? Any questions? Any contributions? Any comments? Any additions? Any subtractions? I'm waiting. Nobody wants to talk. I'll call names. So
yeah.
Hello, ma.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session. And I really learned a lot. And I have a question to ask. There
okay.
is this common yardstick for how much your savings, like when you get your salary, that 20% should be for your savings. Is it supposed to, could it be a fixed percentage, or are you supposed, can you increase it or reduce it depending on how much you're getting or how much responsibilities that you have to do with?
It's not fixed, it's not cast on stone, it's just a guide, to guide you so that you like I said, when you have checked what your income is, your 20% for you, right? Let's say we're working with 200K for you, your income monthly is 200K, your 20% is 40,000. If you remove that 40,000, can 160 support your long term? Can 160 support your living expenses? Can 160 support every other thing that you need to set aside money for? So that's what you should be looking at. So if 160 cannot support that, and what can support it is 180, please save 10%. What matters is that you are saving. It's not the amount that matters. It is the habit that matters. By the time you start saving 10%, at a particular point, that savings would have grown. Let's say you've saved 10,000, 20,000 in 10 months. How much is that? That's 200,000. So you now have an extra 200,000 aside your monthly income of 200,000. Now, if you want to start a business, you want to start a project or something, you have a 200,000 to fall back to. So yes, we might have given you and say living expenses should be 60%, this one should be 20%, that one should be 10%. You can decide to say, for me, because I know that I believe in sacrifice, I believe in seed sowing, I believe in giving. My living expenses is not even 60%. My living expenses is 50%. So that I'm setting aside 10% for when I go to church or when I go to an event and I have to maybe do welfare for someone, I have somewhere to get it from. So you can reduce your living expenses and say, I want to live way beyond, below my means. I want to live on 40%. I want to save 20% for long term. I want to save the other 20% for short term. I want to save to other, so do it how it suits you. The most for saving. Okay.
Yes, yes, I understand. It's just a saving culture. Just have a saving culture. And
yes, have a saving culture. But you must save before you spend.
Okay,
so sit down and do your budget. That's why you need to have your budget. You have to be able to track your expenses so that you will know what your expenses is every month. And then you will know, okay, so this is what I will save every month, and then I'll spend the remaining ones. You might even know what your living expenses is, but you still decide to cut down. Okay, no more DSTV when school is on. Okay. So for that 3 months, you're not buying DSTV, you have cut down on something. Okay, we're no longer going to be using, because we now have to buy solar inverter, we'll cut down on units to so amount. We'll use inverter 10 hours a day. Just play around your finances. But if you don't know what your finances are, you'll not be able to play around it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do we have any other questions?
Hello, ma. Yes, ma. Good evening, ma. I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Thank you for the seminar that you have just given us now. You mentioned ways to increase our income, that assets acquisition too is good. Is a good way
Yes.
to. And in your example, you mentioned land. I just want to ask, what are the other assets that one can actually acquire apart from land?
Okay, you can buy things like bonds, stocks. Okay, you can buy gold because gold always appreciates. So if you buy real gold, not the one that we wash.
Okay, ma. But if I'm buying a bond or stock, that means I'll be needing the service of a stockbroker. Hello, ma. Hello. Hello, ma. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I said, come and pay us. We'll help you. But you can also attend, like we have
Okay, ma.
we have
Noted.
an event that we usually hold during the course of the year. It's called the Money Conversation. So we bring these people and they tell you how you can do it without even having to go through a stockbroker. You just have to maybe download their app and register and do your investments yourself. They keep sending us what is the closing this thing as at today, the inflation rate, okay, and all those. So there are lots of things you can do. Land, gold, federal government bonds, stocks, all those things. I also said you can invest into somebody's business, like on the 8th of this month, right? A friend of mine came in from Lagos for a wine tasting event, and the essence of the wine tasting was for people to invest in their winery. So you invest and they give you equity shares. You become a shareholder in the company. That's an asset. So all you need to do is to know how valuable is this company. If you invest in companies like Etisalat, MTN, buy their shares throughout this year, a lot of banks were selling shares. Fidelity sold, Zenith Bank sold, GT Bank sold. How many did you buy? So these are assets. Now, if you buy that shares, sometimes they'll tell you it's 4 naira ordinary shares or whatever. You now say you buy, even with 75,000 or 100,000, you buy Zenith Bank shares. The next time that Zenith Bank will have a public offering, that shares will no longer be at 4 naira. It can now be at 20 naira. It can be at 25 naira. Because I think what they sold was 25 naira this period. But in those days, they were selling 4 naira, 1 naira. When I started off as a child in secondary school, I used to give one of my brother-in-laws who works in insurance buy for me from Nigeria breweries, I wish I knew I would have left those shares, but my eyes will always be on the screen. Nigerian breweries has gone down. It's falling, go and sell. I will sell it off. I'll buy and sell. If I had the kind of knowledge that I had now, I will buy shares in all these big companies and close my eyes. Because some of them cannot go out of business. They've existed so much that they cannot crash. Instead of MTN to crash, they will sell off, okay? So we need to have assets, but liquid assets, property assets. Think about it. Go online, do research, ask. Apart from land, what else can I invest in? What assets can I invest in using 100K, 200K and all that? Do that. Also, if you don't have the millions, right, to be able to buy these assets by yourself, you can do community investments. Like I was asking some people, go and watch Smart Money Woman, Smart Money Tribe. And if you watch the Smart Money Tribe, you see that what they were planning to do was to put their funds together and buy one of the housing estates, and they'll be collecting rent and they'll be sharing So you just know that if myself and Chinonye and Goodness and Alice and Divine and Samuel decides to put our funds together and say, okay, we want to buy one of all these terrace duplexes in all these town estates in one of maybe Life Camp, Jabi, we buy it and then we start renting it. I will know that I brought 5 million. This one brought 2 million. That one brought, or we cannot agree. Let us all bring 1 million to get 10 million, and we are 10. So when we're sharing, we share even. But if in a situation where I have to bring the highest, we'll share according to how we brought the money. So if I brought the highest, I get the highest. If I brought the lowest, I get the lowest. And until we learn to start translating our relationships to not just be gossip, to be relationship that will both be beneficial to us, not just spiritually, not just physically, not just emotionally, but also financially. There's a level of wealth you cannot attain alone. We're in the days and times where partnerships and collaborations is the new normal. So I'm doing what I'm doing. I couldn't have held this workshop alone and got the kind of impact we got if I were to take the whole session alone. I go partner with my friend who is in Hong Kong, who I know is better at talking about business than I am. Please come and handle business. I go partner with my friend who is an IT guru. Please come and handle IT. I go partner with my friend who is into remote job. Come and handle remote job. I go partner with this one. Come and handle mental health. And then we have a balanced diet. But if I were to do it, they might not be able to explain financial management the way I explained it tonight, right? So, when the Bible says that the body grows by that which every joint supplies, when every joint begins to supply what it's supposed to supply, your life becomes more enriched. So you might not be able to buy a property alone at the financial level that you have. Let's even say what you want, the land you want to buy is just as little as 1 million. Call 5 of your friends and say, let us add to 200 and buy this land. In 5 years' time, we'll sell. When we sell, this is how we will share it. Don't always think that somebody will cheat you. Don't always think that somebody will backstab you. Learn to give people, learn to give, what do I call it? Benefit of doubt. Do your documentations properly. Don't say because we're friends, we're going into such arrangements, we'll use mouth and do it. We're not using mouth and to do anything. We'll call a lawyer. A lawyer will draft it. Everybody will sign, right? When it's business, let it be business. When it's friendship, let it be friendship. Do we have any other questions? Ooh. Any other questions? All right, so can we move to the vision board? It will take us less than 30 minutes. I'm saturated. So let's move to the vision board quickly. If you have any other questions on what we've talked about in the financial management, you can send me a DM and we can tackle it from there. Is that okay? This one, all of you are not answering me. Okay. Oh, when you come to my gym.
No, yes, ma'am. It's okay.
No questions for them. So
All
much
right, thank you.
think on.
Thank you. Okay, so no, this is the wrong one. Oh, So we want to talk about our vision board. That's the last thing we're doing in this workshop. We may not be able to do it now, right? You might have to go do it alone, but I'll just give us the guide. I'll just give us the guide, right? So the vision board. Let me open the slide, please. All right, can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes.
So creating a vision board. You know, I told us that your vision board is just a pictorial representation of your goal. And you need to understand that when it comes to creating a board, there are so many boards. Vision board is just one of them. We have value board. Okay, there are 5 V's. There are about 5 V's. You have the vision board, you have the value board, and all the rest. So you notice that when you enter some offices, it might be happening in your office and you don't even know that that's what they're doing. They have a board where they always write what they want to achieve that year. I entered one of my one branch manager's office who happens to be my friend, and I sat down, and every time he sits and tilts his chair towards the vision board, and it looked like he's lost in thought. And I was wondering, what is he looking at? Why is he not even looking at me, who is sitting in front of him? And I saw the vision board, and the vision board says to open 10,000 accounts in 6 months. And I'm like, oh, more marketers will work tired. So that was their vision. That was the vision of the bank, to open 10,000 accounts in 6 months. And they will have other things beyond just opening the account. But maybe that was the one that was paramount for him. Maybe he was opening an account that was paramount for him. So that was what was before his eyes. So what is your vision board? Your vision board is a practical or a pictorial representation of your goals. A vision board is a collection of images, words, and other items that represent and help you focus on your goals and aspiration. They can be used as a visualization tool to help you achieve your life goals, and are also known as dream boards. So if you hear dream board, you hear vision board, they're talking about the same thing. They can also call it visualization board. You know, it sends a signal to your brain.
50-50K.
Please, can we mute our mics? Thank you. You know, when I told us that I entered my friend's car and I liked the car, and everywhere I started going, that was the car I was seeing, as if I had never seen it before, as if everybody in Abuja was using that car. And so when an opportunity came and I needed to buy a car, I wasn't confused about the kind of car I wanted. I was specific. I said, I want Lexus ES 350 direct Belgium. I want to be the first person that will use it in Nigeria. And that's because I had a vision that I kept seeing. And, you know, sometimes these things are not going to go smoothly the way you want it. So when I told my car dealer, go find a car for me, he went to Lagos, he will show me this one. I said, no, no, I don't want an accidented car. No, I want to be the first to use it in Nigeria, and it has to be very good. I said, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want. Okay, use another brand. I don't want another brand. It's this car I want. And when he was about giving up, a friend called him, hey, my container is arriving this morning. Come, I have what you want. So my car was paid for as they were offloading it. It was paid for as they were offloading. The only difference is that I had to add a little on top my budget. But why was I specific about what I wanted and wasn't going to compromise? Because I had a vision board. Now my vision has changed again. I entered one of my friend's car In January this year, it was a Mercedes GLK 550, black color. We sat at the back and I told myself, does this guy have two heads? And that is the next car I'm going to buy. So when you see me driving a Mercedes GLK 550, maybe next year, maybe next 2 years, just to know that I started nursing that vision from January 2024. It has been in my head. It is not changing. So now everywhere I go, what I'm saying is Mercedes-Benz GLK 550 model. What I'm not yet clear about is if I want the white color or the black color. So you see, I can be that specific. And when I settle that I want white color, no matter what anybody tells me when I'm ready to buy it, I will not budge. I can be that stubborn too. So visualization board, it sends signals to your brain that produces the right emotions, excitement or pain needed to keep you motivated on the go. There was a spot I jumped in the financial planning when you were supposed to visualize. So what's the exercise? You're supposed to pull out your writing pad, and do you want to, should we do it or should I send it to us later? You can do it on your own. Should I go back to that slide, the one we jumped, or can I send it to us later and you do it on your own?
Later.
All right, so we'll do it later then. So you're supposed to visualize some things and write it down and then extract your goals from them, then paste it. So if you don't have a picture you are seeing daily, those goals can easily be forgotten with time and challenges. So when one small challenges come, you forget that you once had the goal to own so car and all that. Maybe you hear the amount, you now say, is the only car I'll use all this money to buy? Would the car take me to heaven? You know those words we used to say, will the car take me to heaven? But you might not know that I've been nursing that vision 5 years ago, that I want to drive Mercedes GLK 550. You just see me 5 years later and I buy the car and you wonder that, she has money. No, I have been planning for it since 5 years ago. I've had the vision since 5 years ago. So when it happens, it's not that day it happened. It happened 5 years ago. It only materialized that day, right? They say that the future you don't picture, you will not feature in it. So you need to start picturing everything, every single thing. How will your family look like in the next 10 years? Even the picture of the man you want to settle down with, the kind of office you want your business to have, what kind of clients do you want to have? Picture everything. This is kind of a framework where you have your goal 1, goal 2, you have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. You write out the goals, you list areas of your life that you will see growth by achieving these goals, your positive affirmation, you picture of something, maybe you picture a model of business. Let me try and increase this a little. Okay, so you put a picture of role model in business that you want, maybe the kind of business you want to have. Go and look for it online, paste it there. Picture of role model in career. Like if I were to paste someone here, I will paste Awoshika, I will paste this woman, the richest woman in Africa. I will paste her picture there. As a matter of fact, there's a picture I have that I did pics mix and I'm in between 2 of them. I'm in between 2 of them, Awoshika and what's her name? Please, somebody help me.
Is it Alakija?
Yes, Alakija. Yes. So I was standing in between Alakija and Awoshika in that picture. I tried to look for it so that I could paste it here, but I don't know where it is in my gallery. My gallery is too full. And so you can paste the picture of role model marriage that you want. You can paste the picture of role model lifestyle that you want. Paste the picture of the car that you want. Whatever makes you happy, okay? Milestone for goals, list of habits you have to start. Like one of the habits we say we're going to start is savings. You need to build that savings culture. You put it there. You describe the new you. Who is the new you're going to be? You need to learn how to have your personal statement of who you are. Call yourself what you want to be. Even if I'm joking with my friends, I might not have something, I might not have something. I was like, you want me to come and form my billionaire hand? I describe myself as a billionaire. I might not even have 1 million in my account now, but watch out for me. Watch out for me. One day, I will be among the Forbes women. I'll be counted among the Forbes women. So call yourself that. Why do I call myself the money woman? It did not even start from me. It started from my pastor, and immediately I heard it when he looked at me and I said, the money woman. I grabbed the name with my 2 hands and 2 feet. So if I'm the money woman, it only means that money is attracted to me. And so money flows in my direction at all times. If I cough, it's money. If I sneeze, it's money. Anything I do is money. So when I ask you how much is money, I'm not asking you because I have it in my bank account. I'm asking you because I am wealthy, and wealth starts from the inside, not from my account. It starts from my inside. It starts from my mindset. So if you see my phone right now, I was telling somebody, I say, better buy me phone. No, you want me to be following my billionaire hand? Why? My phone is not too sound, but I don't send you. I will go for any meeting. They say, give me your phone number. I bring out my phone. I give you. You might say, see the kind of phone she's using. That's your problem. Because that I've not changed the phone. It's not because I don't have the capacity to change the phone. It's because in my scale of preference, there are things that are more important than the luxury of changing the phone. Is the phone serving me? Yes, I'm using the phone for this. It's the phone I'm using to talk. It's the phone I'm using throughout this workshop while I'm using my system for to manage record and all that. So it's serving me. It's serving all the purposes. I take my pictures. I do my mail from my phone. I do virtually everything I want to do from my phone. So if because it's not what is trending, you think that makes me a poor person, then you are the one that is poor because you don't even know what wealth is about. So what makes you happy? How can you describe yourself? What name will you begin to call yourself that will stick and people will begin to call you that name? Some people call me financial lord. Some people call me the force. Why do they call me the force? Because if we need to raise 10 million now, I will raise it. If we need to raise 10 million now, so I look for the force. Tell her that we have this project. How much time do we need to raise it? Who are the people that are involved? Oh yeah, let's start. And we will achieve it. Even if we don't get 10 million, we'll get 9.8. Go and verify. Let me talk like our P2B. Go and verify. Even if we don't get 10 million, we'll get 9.8. So what makes you happy? How do you describe yourself? If you call me the first, I'll answer you. Call me the money woman, I'll answer you. Call me a financial lord, I'll answer you. That is how I describe myself. And that is what will keep playing out and working out in my life. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you cannot think it in your heart, you can't become it. So it's not a function of the economy. It's a function of what I'm thinking in my heart. If I think scarcity, if I think that I cannot meet up, if I think that the prices of things are too high, then that is who I am. Someone that always be in scarcity, someone that cannot meet up, someone that cannot buy that product because it's too high. So have your own personal statement and what makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy, please get involved in doing it. Choose you. this new year. Choose you. Choose you. So start with your visualization exercise. Craft out a vision statement or statements for yourself, for your person. I have my vision statement written somewhere. I would have picked it up so that you would have seen what I crafted out for myself. But I can give us the guide. I will send us the guide. So this is the second thing I'm promising to send to us, the pattern on how to craft your vision statement for yourself. You know, your statement, your personal statement. This is not career statement. This is not professional profiling. This is personal statement. Who are you? When they ask you, who are you? Can you really tell me who you are? Goodness, who are you? Ifoma, who are you? Alice, who are you? Damilola, who are you? Kayode, who are you? Samuel, who are you? Remove your profession, okay? Remove your career. Aside your career and your profession, who are you? Have you ever thought about it? Who are you? So have a personal statement where, that's why when you go for interview and they say, tell me about yourself, you don't have anything to say because you don't even know who you are. You have to create that personal statement. Use pictures to represent your goals or decorated words. List areas of your life that will change or improve. Use the 8 dimensions of wellness to determine which area you are lacking and include them. They called it 8 dimensions of wellness here, but remember at the beginning, I called it the wheel of life. If you go Google the wheel of life, it will give you the 8 dimensions of life too. So you now shade and determine which one you're lacking in. Find pictures of people that inspire you towards your goal. You can state why you chose them, and then include other people, include other things that support your goals. Nobody told me that my screen wasn't showing any. Okay, so that's basically it. This is where I am now, right? State why you choose them, include other things that support your growth and achievements, and remove what you don't need. Remove what you don't need. Remove what you don't need. Don't allow life throw things at you. So I'll take it again. Start with a visualization exercise. Craft out a vision statement or statements. You can decide to do for your personal, you can decide to do for your business. You know, one of the reasons why it looks like my workshop is one of the cheapest you can ever attend or pay for is because my vision is to help the underserved, the most ordinary Nigeria to access investment and have multiple stream of income. And there was in the year 2021, when I was helping people to do investment, one of the things I did was there was a woman in the market that was selling ugu vegetable leaf, right? That's what she was selling. And she wants to do an investment. And you see most of these investment portfolios, the cheapest you will have will tell you that you will start from 500,000. So it means that that woman in the market cannot do an investment. It means that that woman who is roasting yam cannot do an investment. It means that so many people in that category, so many people cannot do an investment of 500K. So what did I do? I gathered them. This one will say, it's only 50K I have. I say, bring it. That one will bring 100K. This one will bring 200K. Everybody's signed. You brought 50K. Your ROI is 10% every month. So you're getting 5K every month. You brought 100 until I collected funds from 2, 3, 4 people, invest for them. I go to the next 2, 3, 4 people, I invest for them. And the kind of prayer that I was getting from those market women. So that's why you see when I want to do a training, most times the amount I put for registration does not cover what I spend. We're using Zoom. And you know that if the Zoom is not paid for, By 45 minutes, I would have been telling people, log in again, log in again. That does not show professionalism. We're using data, we're using light. We have facilitators that I'll go back to say thank you, not with empty hand. So the price I put does not cover the budget for this workshop. But because my vision is to serve the underserved, those people that when the Tony Elumelu and the Awoshikas want to hold a conference, you see them putting $1,000. Some of us will never go for their conference, not because we don't want to go, but because we cannot afford it. So we bring the same things that they will teach you in that $1,000 and even better, and package it for you. But the problem is, even if you make it 1K, there are still some people that will not pay because they want it for free. But at least, am I living my vision statement? Yes, I am, and I'm fulfilling that vision. And I'm grateful to God for that. Now, here's a practical example of my vision board. This was my vision board for in 2022. We did it at around December 2022 for the year 2023. And if you look at this vision board clearly, let me expand it. Okay. If you look at the vision board clearly, if I'm to rate myself in this vision board, it started by, sorry, this is me, right? The first thing here is CEO. Have I achieved that? I have. I became a full boss lady this year when I stopped working for anyone. So have I achieved this? I have. This is a check. It's too faint. I can't even see how much I wrote on it, but I can assure you that I achieved it. Because just in February, one job I did that paid me in dollars must have written off whatever I wrote here. This is me. I said I wanted to have global recognition. I wanted to have global recognition. This one, I might not have gotten the recognition, but when it comes to doing jobs globally, I have achieved it. I have done trainings with GIZ for their, 18 months projects. I have done trainings, and all that. Now, this is the one that I said I want to be a Forbes woman. Have I achieved this one? It's still in the works. It's still in the process. I have joy. Like a river, you can come and fetch from me. And I'm serious about it. I'm hardly ever sad. Do I get angry? Yes, I do. Do I have downtimes? Yes, I do. But I don't let it stay long. So I was going to be depressed on the 24th for a particular reason. And I said, what's wrong with you? On Jesus' birthday eve. And I remember one song, this Let Everything that has praise the Lord, oh my soul. And I remember that my friends and I, we tried to, choreograph the song. And I went to dig it up. And watching it alone, I was just laughing. So I forgot about what was worrying me. Because one of the things we learned in the mental health session was have a coping mechanism. My coping mechanism is music. So I will play that music in my speaker and to be blasting. If you're in my sister's social media space, she will say, one of the days she posted that as my sister eyes closed, her mouth open, every morning I'll just be hearing, and she actually recorded it and put it on her status. And I was just laughing. So my coping mechanism is music because I love music. And then I also stated my MBA with this school, and love engagement ring, vacation, this is the vacation site. This is what my family is going to look like. For everybody that knows me, you already know my children's name, even though they have not come, This is Tio, this is Bodge, the one that has come. This is my first daughter that will come. This is my second son that will come. That is my vision board. So go back, sit down, pay attention to this. You might want to do it with friends. It makes it fun. It makes it beautiful. If you notice, we did this in a restaurant. There are other people sitting down here, but they just took a picture of me. We did it over, snacks, drinks. Everybody like, please, who has wedding picture? Give me. Who has this one? Everybody was looking for what they wanted. And as at the time, these were the things I wanted. So if we were to do a vision board today, some of these things will be carried over to my new vision board because it has not been achieved. So I will keep carrying them over, keep carrying them over, keep carrying them over. And the day I will achieve it, you will think that was the day that it was worked on. No, I've been working on it since 2023, since 2020, since like now I've been working on my Mercedes GLK 550 since January 2024. So if I'm to do a vision board now, that car will be here. My global recognition will still come up. My Forbes woman will still come up. But boss lady might no longer be there because I'm already that. CEO will no longer be there because I'm already that, So your vision board, even if you don't achieve everything this year, you can carry it over to the next year. But even if you don't achieve it, if you are to access yourself properly, if I'm to access myself, I worked with a company in US, I worked with a company in Germany, and I was going to work with a company in Madagascar, but because of translation issues, I couldn't take up the project. I have not gotten the recognition where they'll come here and give me award for one global whatever, but I have started getting global recognition in that a company in US now knows that there's a company called Giselle Kobe Concepts. I've gotten recognition in that a company in Germany now knows that there's a company as mine that is existing, and I have gotten recognition in Madagascar. Is that not going global? Please celebrate me, I beg. I'm not your mate, you know what I'm saying? All right, so this is where we stop for today. Any questions? Any questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I like your vision board. I want to ask, for SMART goals, there is time bound.
Yes.
Must we put stipulated time to all these goals, or we just put them, okay, I'm working towards it, but I don't know how long it's going to take me? Or we should just put time.
You need to put time. If you don't achieve it within that time, you carry it over. But you will notice that if you put time, you might not achieve it 100%. Just like this global recognition that I've talked about. I've not achieved it global 100%, right? The recognition is that you can, and they'll call you, all this AMBC award for people that are into movies. They can call you Entrepreneur of the Year in Africa. Such things. That is the recognition I'm talking about. I might not have gotten it, but I am a step closer because now international organizations know that I exist. And you see, the company I worked for in US, I now have like, how you are a contractor in a company. I'm not like one of their registered consultants. So they were the ones that even gave me their client in Madagascar, which means that next year, if they have a client in Turkey and they feel that what I do is what that client requires, they will call me to go and do the job. So when I keep doing this job, and then one day they say, nominate an African lady that's exceptional in XYZ, and I might just ring in their head and they say, oh, all the job we gave to this lady, she executes within time frame, she executes within budget, she executes and she achieves the required goal. And you will just be there sleeping in your house. You don't know that somebody somewhere in US has put down your name or your company name and has nominated you for Entrepreneur of the Year. That is how it is done. Why some others you pay with your money, you buy it and they recognize you. So whichever way, have a time frame. The time frame will not be reflected in your vision board. As you can see, my vision board, there's no time. But when you go to my goals, you see them specifically broken down into time and all that. So your vision board is just to keep the picture before you. Just like the example I gave with Moses, Laban, and the sheep, where the sheep, because they were looking at dotted pictures that Moses kept before them, though they were plain, they began to give birth to dotted animals. That is the same thing that your vision board will do for you. It will set your mind, it will mentally stimulate you. Even unconsciously, you will start working towards your vision. Unconsciously, you'll be working towards it because that's the picture that your eyes have seen and seen and seen and keep seeing. And whatever you see, you become. You attract what your mind thinks about. You know, there's a documentary, if you can find it, go and look for it, The Secret. It says that the universe is like the genie. Even your thoughts, the universe can pick your thoughts. And once it picks your thought, it will tell you, your wish is my command. So if your thought is always negative, negative things will keep happening to you. If your thoughts are positive, positive things will keep happening to you. So don't say, I don't know when I'll achieve it. Always say, I want to achieve it by so time. Start working towards it to achieve it by so time. When that time comes, do an assessment. How far did I go in achieving this? Did I actually achieve it? You might not achieve it 100%, but you achieve it 50, 60, 70%. That is still success. So don't say because you didn't get it 100%, you didn't succeed. No, you succeeded. Always find the good in everything, not the negative. Is that understood?
Yes, ma. Thank you so much, ma. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Some people for 3 days have not said anything. Oh yeah, so Nachi, let's hear your voice. You have not said anything in 3 days. No questions, no comments, no thumbs up. You must say something now. Even you, Blessing, Alice. I'm calling people that have not spoken at all. All right. In the absence of any other questions or contributions, this is where we wrap up this workshop. It's been an exciting time spending the last day of my 2024 with all of you has been fulfilling. I feel like I achieved what I didn't achieve throughout the year just by doing this. And I'm grateful to God for helping me to go through with it. I'm grateful to God for helping me to go through with it, despite the surgery that came on the 19th, which was not planned for. Life always throws things at you. What you do with what life throws at you is what matters, not the thing that was thrown at you. They say life gives you lemon, make lemonade. Don't complain that you didn't give me orange. Why are you giving me lemon? Make lemonade. If it gives you lime, make lime tea. Always make the most of what life throws at you, all right? And you will notice that you will have a very, very rich life. I pray for everyone that these words will not fall on deaf ears, that this knowledge that you have gained this weekend, it will not fall on rocky soil, It will not even fall on sand. It will fall in the soil of your heart, where it will germinate and it will bear forth good fruits. And you'll be able to look back and you'll say, my life changed because I paid the price to attend a 3 days workshop when I should have been hanging out. If we're not having this thing, some of you won't have been at home by now. Some of you would have been in one garden, in one movie, watching movies or something, but you sacrificed all that to be there. And there's no sacrifice that always goes unrewarded. This sacrifice you've made for yourself, it will not go unrewarded. It will be a seed that will not just enrich your life in 2025, but it will go beyond 2025 to 2026 to 2027. And it will even be a seed that you will use to help others to become better. Have a wonderful night rest and a very, very fulfilling and prosperous new year in advance.
Thank you very much.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very
much.
much, Ma. You're just the best.
God bless
Thank
you.
you.
We
We'll be waiting for the audio.
God bless
Happy New Year in advance.
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year in advance.
Happy New Year,
Happy
Ma.
New Year, Ma. I love you like that.
How is
I
your
love
son,
you
Ma?
like
See you in the other room.
When you are coming, come with your consultation fee. Oh.
Yes, Mama.
All right. Take care.
That reminds me.